Hi, my name is Melanie Hilliard, and I am a student in Liberty University's Clinical Mental Health Counseling Program. The purpose of this video is to compare and contrast the content of an informed consent form that I got from online to recommendations of the ACA Code of Ethics and our Kentucky State Board rules and regulations. The consent form that I downloaded came from a company called Healing Choices. It is a company in Louisville, Kentucky. The consent form was 18 pages and probably one of the most complete consent forms that I have read. The business specializes in the treatment of partners of addicts. I chose one from Kentucky to compare to the KAR, which is the Kentucky Administrative Regulations, and that regulates our counseling board here. In the beginning, the form started off with encouragement for seeking counseling, information about the counseling services, and directions to bring the signed form back with you on your first visit. The consent form also establishes a clear counselor relationship, which is consistent with the Code of Ethics and our administrative regs. The form gives clear examples of unethical behavior, like personal favors on either side would be unethical. It defines how relationships can have a negative impact on the clinical boundaries. The form also has a very clear social media policy. It outlines where you can follow a therapist, but they cannot follow you back. Has a physical contact policy, which includes a hug policy. It also has an illness policy. Clients experiencing any stage of illness should conduct sessions by phone. And that illness policy has to be signed and returned also. Confidentiality and privacy. The form discusses the importance of privacy and explains exceptions to client confidentiality, and those exceptions are related to child abuse, child porn, abuse of the elderly, homicidal and suicidal tendencies, or mandates through the court systems. Their child pornography defines a minor as anyone under 18, and that it says that Kentucky state law requires agency to report to legal authorities any mention of access to child pornography. The state law that it references, though, is for California, not Kentucky. So there's a little bit of discrepancies there. The professional responsibilities, it doesn't really address qualifications and competencies. It explains the therapy approach of CBT and existential psychotherapy, but it doesn't go into the counselor's training. The last part, evaluation and testing, wasn't even addressed at all. Our administrative regs and the Code of Ethics address this pretty extensive, but it wasn't even addressed in this. Distance counseling and social media. As I said, the social media policy was pretty clear. The consent form does not talk about distance counseling per se, but I get the impression that the company doesn't even offer it. My overall reaction and impression about the consent form is that it is very thorough without becoming a book that the first-time client would have to fill out before even coming to a therapy session. So I think they did a good job communicating what they needed from the client and what the client can expect.